Montreal. It's nearly 2 o'clock. The Canadian Grand Prix is about to start. McLaren's second driver, American Michael Andretti, has everything to prove. With him on the grid is his race engineer, Steve Hallam.
See what they are just before the off. I may just bring the rears up a smidge. I don't want to catch you out there, that's the only thing. They're quite nicely balanced.
Michael was one of the stars of America's IndyCar Championship when he joined McLaren at the start of the year. But his first season in Formula One has so far been an unhappy one. Out of 6 races, he has finished twice. Never a man to hide his concerns is McLaren boss, Ron Dennis.
Both he and I have one common feeling, which is that we're both disappointed. I mean, he's disappointed in his own performance, and of course I am too. As regards winning races, we're not doing the job that we need to do to provide him with a car and engine, and he's not doing the job he needs to do as a driver.
Team manager Dave Ryan is more optimistic.
Michael has got a lot of experience, he's a winner, but these cars are different. His approach has to be a little bit different. I think perhaps he's been a bit conservative up till now, and I'm sure we'll see an improvement.
McLaren's public relations chief, Norman Howell.
He's admitted he's found it tougher than he thought he might. He's not a 22-year-old youngster who's going to go all out all the time. You know, he wants to drive in a certain manner, and he's finding it tough.
Michael's wife, Sandra, is on the grid to boost his morale.
I think in the beginning it was quite an adjustment, but we're getting into a groove now, and I think he'll get the tiger eye back in his eye, because that's the way he used to run. And I think once I see that look on his face, then I'll know he's back into his race mode.
Racing runs in the Andretti family. Michael's home is in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, just a few minutes from his father, Mario, who has won 4 IndyCar championships and the Formula One World Championship. Michael's son, Marco, seems set to follow in the family tradition.
You guys going?
Yeah, we should get going.
Where are you going to go?
Yeah?
Where are you going?
I don't know, swimming.
Swimming?
Racing has made Michael rich, and in America at least, famous. Now 32, he started his full-time racing at 18 and was soon on the podium. He won the American IndyCar Championship in 1991 and was runner-up 4 times. When he signed with McLaren, he had 27 victories under his belt. Before each race, he gets a call from Steve Hallam.
Back from that hairpin is all flat then, right?
Right, from the hairpin, yeah. It's all flat. Well, I'm always...
Hopefully it'll be all flat.
Right. It's all generally flat up until that right-left in front.
It is taking time for Michael to get used to Formula One.
Well, it's just unfortunate, you know, we've had a start where the races just haven't gone well, and most of the problems have come at the start of the races, and I think the races that I did have problems at starts, probably the ones where I was running the best, and probably would have been on definitely podium finishes at a few of them, so that's frustrating.
Michael arrives early at the Montreal circuit. In the 3 days ahead, there is the chance of much-needed practice. Though this season, the number of laps a driver is allowed during practice has been severely restricted. The Canadian Grand Prix is the only Formula One event in North America, and as the only American driver in the championship, Michael is carrying the hopes of the local fans.
I think you'll find that with this engine the hairpins will be second gear. In fact, I'm sure
That's what it was last year, so it should be.
You can take first if you need it, and it's there if you want it, so mixture. Up to now we've been running in P4, which is the nominal 100%, but at Imola 2 weeks ago, Mika did pick some speed up by going by getting richer.
We haven't tried that, have we?
No, and I want to try it here because here would be a place where we'd feel it. So not necessarily on your first run, but as we get into the morning, I'd like you to do a mixture span to see if you actually feel the difference.
We'll be talking to Steve Hallam, and we'll be discussing how we're going to break down each practice and what we want to try and things like that. And it's a lot more structured, I think, than it's ever been because of the way the rules are now. You're only allowed 23 laps of practice in the morning and 12 in qualifying, which again has been a little bit of a problem for me. But now you just have to structure and you have to maximize each and every lap. So we look into that very carefully together on how we're going to do it and what we're going to try and how many laps we're going to do in each run and what tires we're going to use and things like that. So a lot of thought will go into that.
He's coming in here. He's not standing much instruction. He needs to be flat out of there, I'd say. That's right. It's so bumpy through, you would be afraid to low drag, huh?
We've been helping him get used to Formula One, get used to the cars, get used to the way of working. There's a lot of technology on the cars, and you have to be, to get the best out of the package that's the driver and the car, Michael needs to understand it, and we've been helping him get to grips with what the car can do for him.
For Michael, it's been a big leap from Indy cars to Formula One. His toughest challenge has been learning to handle these high-tech machines.
Big thing I had to get used to is braking. For instance, you come into a corner, an Indy car will basically have about the same terminal speed as a Formula One car on the same straightaway. But then it all changes when you come up to a corner because you're carrying a lot more weight in the Indy car, so you'll be braking, say, for instance, you'll be braking at a 200-yard marker. With a Formula One car, you're going to go to a 100 or a 75-yard marker, so you almost cut the braking distance in half. So after 10 years of seeing things come at you at a certain pace and then braking in a certain place, now I have to tell my brain and reprogram it to say, hey, you got to go twice as far as you've done in the last 10 years. And that's another thing that's been tough to get used to.
Car jumps all over the place on the braking. Because I feel like I'm braking so early. Until I try it.
Yeah.
I try to carry speed, the car just slides, and then it screws up that apex, you know.
Okay. Do you still have understeer in the... Oh, did we hurt your understeer with taking the front wing out?
No, it just made it less nervous, you know.
We went enough, did we?
Still can't do that 1.5, but there's a bump there.
It's more because of the bump than the balance, is it?
Now.
Yeah.
Before it was
balance, yeah.
It was awful when it bumps.
Being on the McLaren team imposes another pressure on Michael. They're used to winning. Whatever the problems he faces, Michael knows what's expected.
Sounds like we've got, initially, sounds like we've got too much front balance aerodynamically. I think we ought to take some front wing out of it, and that'll help you loose, particularly there. The question is how much to take out. I have a feeling we're talking about a hole. That's one hole both sides. Have a look at some data. We have time at the moment, and see if we can help you there. But the primary change is going to be front wing. Okay, good.
McLaren's technology is among the most advanced in Formula One. The team can minutely adjust their cars to suit each circuit. They can do changes to the wing and dramatically improve the car's aerodynamics. They can precisely program the onboard computer and control the car's ground clearance on each bend. So Steve is constantly pressing Michael for more information about how the car is behaving.
What did you think to the tyres? Were they staying with you? I reckon we leave these tyres on. I don't know how you feel. My fear is if I put you a new set and you do 10 laps, which is what we've got now, if we go for the twos, we'll need to race on the qualifying sets. We'll stay on these. Right. And is it set up exactly with the program that we have? Same program, I just refreshed it. So.
Michael goes out for a few more laps. Driver and engineer can talk to each other on the radio. It's not easy at 150 miles an hour, but it has its uses. Like this, when Michael has a problem with the car's bodywork.
Coming off the front. So please repeat. My bodywork is coming off the front. You know, my front bodywork. Get you straight back out. Good. 1 second. Okay. Start up.
Problems with the car mean that after the first day's qualifying session, Michael is lying 13th.
We get 35 laps a day. You get 23 laps in free practice and then 12 laps in qualifying, and you've got to go out and do it. You know, if you haven't got things right, if you haven't quite got to grips with the circuit, that doesn't matter. You know, you're on the same footing as everyone else. You've just got to go out and do it. And I think for Michael, that's hurting him.
After every practice session, the drivers and their engineers meet to discuss what's right and wrong with the cars.
It's truly amazing what happens in debriefing, because the days of saying, you know, the car's doing this in one corner, I did this in one corner, and knowing that it didn't happen, they know everything. It's like big brothers watching you the whole time, and so you have to really think things out. And I think the way I try to do it and the way most guys do is you try to use that information for yourself. You try to go through everything so you know exactly what the car is doing. You know, a lot of times you think you're losing time in one spot, but you're really not. And it's really nice having all that information at hand, but it does take a lot more time than normal because there's so much data to go through.